Hello, my friends. I have another really simple DIY project idea for you that is, very practical. I like to come up with practical ideas. If you're going to do something creative, sometimes we do things just for it to be pretty, but if it can be practical as well, I always love that. So this is a project I've had on my to-do list for a while, and I'm preparing for a vendor event. So it's a perfect time for me to get these done. And you can use a multitude of different types of surfaces. I'm actually going to do another video, or actually I'll probably just post some other completed pictures of this, a similar type thing. Unless I decide I am going to do a video with some different surfaces, but these are just, from the Dollar Tree. I picked them up during the summertime, and they're like they're metal, they're tin. They had different designs on them. Whatever you can find at your local one. Obviously you can only get these during the summertime, spring at the earliest. And it just has this twine already on it. I am not going to change any of that. I am just going to keep them pretty basic, other than the fact that, I am going to paint this one. So, I just thought I would bring you along. We all hate when you have those solicitors coming to your door, ringing your doorbell, especially if you have a little one, and it seems like inevitably they come right when they've gone to sleep, right? And then the dog gets barking if you have a dog, and then that riles everybody up. So, just beside the fact that maybe you don't want a solicitor coming to your house. So this is actually a transfer that came out 2 years ago when I'm doing this recording. It's 2 years old. And I love it. It has all these different fun sayings on there so that you can make your own sign. Obviously, you can order signs like that from Etsy and different places. But, to me, I love to customize and make it fun. And then you can make it say whatever it is that you want it to say. Like I said, this was from 2022, so it is no longer available, but I just wanted to show a fun idea with you guys. And, sometimes you can even get your hands on these older transfers. If you need information about that, then let me know, and I'll send me a message, and I'll be glad to share that with you. But for today, we're going to use the no soliciting because I want to make this available in my neighborhood. I'm in a beachy area, so these are going to work perfectly for me because you don't need a lot on here. You don't want to put a big statement. There's not a whole lot you can do on here. Maybe you could do your house number, something like that, if you wanted to put this outside your door. But I think it's going to be perfect for these. So we're going to go ahead and finish cutting it. As you can see, we have 5 designs on here. I love transfer stencils that have more than one design, because then you're getting more bang for your buck, and then you can kind of mix and match and make it say whatever you want to. I have cut these other sections. This is the last one. I am using a set of my transfer trimmers, which are specially made to work with our transfer stencils because they are sticky on the back. So these are coated. Let's see if I can do this. I like to try to go right down that little seam. It's just a silk screen seam. But they're coated and they're longer blades so that you can get through the transfers easier and it doesn't stick. So that's what I just used there. And now I am going to use the no soliciting. And for this one, we're going to do, we are going to do the anchor. I have chosen a color that was one of our color of the months. So every month, Chalk Couture has a brand new color of the month that they have for a limited time. They come out with it on the 1st of the month. It's only while supplies last. It's a limited edition. And I love this color blue. I think it's going to be perfect. And I'm hoping it's going to show up really well on here. If not, I can take it off and I can paint this a background color and then put this over top of it. So if I need to do that, I will. I'll know after I try this one. We're going to try it on this one first, and then if not, I'll know for when I go to do this one. So that is the color I'm going to use this because it's an anchor. And I love that the anchor is already silver. I don't really even need to paint that. So we're just going to use this blue for this. Now, for this one, I'm going to paint it, and then I'm going to do it, and I'm going to paint this, the seahorse in this pretty coral color, and then I have a coral color chalk paste that I'm going to do my words in. So I won't do that today, but I will show you the finished product with that, and I'm going to show you how I decide to paint that. So if you want, we can go ahead and do that part first. I'm just sticking a piece of paper under here, taking a little bit of this. This is folk art. I always have a hard time with that word. I don't know why. Matte, and it's called Fire Coral. You can choose any color you want. I just decided my seahorse needed to be a coral. Like I said, I live in a beachy area, and we even have some people that have their houses painted this color, or they have shutters on their houses this color. So, I'm hoping this is going to appeal to someone who, is thinking about that. Now I'm just putting the paper under here. I really should probably have it on the other side, just so that if I go, over the seahorse, that I'm not getting it actually on the metal as well. Like I said, I'm starting to think as I'm looking at this, I did one of these years ago for a different purpose, like just for a fun summer plaque. But it's packed away, and I can't remember if I ended up having to paint the surface or if it was the color I used just showed up really well. So we're going to see. I did choose this lighter color. It may not show up as well. But again, I can always paint the background a color and then do my chalk design over top of it. So I'm just gonna do, for right now, I'm gonna let that dry. We're gonna stick with one coat just for this demonstration purposes. I'll probably have to go back over and coat it. Now, I will tell you right now, if this was for me and this was gonna be for my home, that would be sparkly because I love my sparkles. I'm not gonna do that since I am gonna be selling this at a vendor event. Again, this is just something simple. I got the surface at the Dollar Tree. You know, I'll sell this for somewhere between $5 and $10. I don't know. I may even, I haven't decided yet. I may do this one, I don't know, $7. You got to budget in your cost of your supplies, not just that the surface was from the Dollar Tree, but your idea and your time if you are selling things for, you know, for a profit. Okay, my friends. So I have prepared these surfaces in a different way than when I got ready to show you guys the first time. So they came all silver. Everything was silver. Got them at the Dollar Tree. Spring, summer, that's when you can usually find them. I got them 2 years ago, but I'm pretty sure I saw them again this year. They're just a neat little metal sign that you can, comes with the twine. You could change that out for something a little more beachy if you wanted, since they are all like beach themed or coastal themed type designs. So what we're going to do is turn these into a no soliciting. So this is a transfer that I had. It's from 2022. It's a transfer stencil. So basically it's reusable. These are silkscreen. They're self-adhesive. I've already used it once, as you can see. I tried it out on one of these without painting the base first, and it did not work. So I cleaned it off, painted them, and then once I put actual paint on them, so I just chose actual paint. So this is just acrylic paint on there. I used a little bit of my surface wax over top of it, and what that does is it just kind of seals in the paint so that when my transfer stencil goes on top, since it's a sticker, it doesn't pull the paint back up. And with this one, I did choose to kind of paint it, you know, the design too, this little piece that kind of pops up and just is an added emblem. With this one, I'm leaving it silver because most anchors are silver. If you want to, though, you could always paint it navy or one of the colors that you're using in your design. These are not going to be available year round. That's the only problem. But this process will work on any surface. Now, this transfer stencil, like I said, was 2 years old. It was, at the time I'm doing this recording, it was 2 years old, and it's no longer available. But if you could find something similar to it, it would be fabulous. I am going to use no soliciting on this one. On both of them, it's going to say no soliciting, but I am going to do it in 2 different colors. So I have to wash it in between. And I am just fuzzing it a little bit because I already washed it and it got sticky again. And really what takes the longest with this whole process is placing your transfer stencil. I am going to put it kind of near the top because, sorry, because I want to put another little saying at the bottom. And I am going to try to see, I think that looks like it's about straight, but I do have this, do you see how there's that little hole there? And I don't want that to kind of interfere with my words. So I'm going to drop it down just a little bit so that my words are below it. And I still think that's going to give me enough room that I will be able to put another saying underneath it because we have a couple other cute little sayings. So I think that's going to work. Now you don't need to fuzz it a lot if you had to wax. If you were not waxing and this, you were just putting it directly on metal and it was a dark enough color that would show up, then you would want to make sure you fuzz it a lot because our transfer stencils are sticky and they really like to grab a hold of metal and glass and ceramic and plastic, those kinds of things, acrylic. So just trying to get this lined up so that we have it kind of over here by the anchor. Let's see. I believe that's straight. We're going to go ahead and press that down. Make sure there's no bumps or bubbles. I want a good image. I want to make sure I can get everything the way. And actually, that is not completely straight. I can tell once I did that. It looked a little crooked. I'm going by the top because the top was the top edge of the transfer, as you can see. And this bottom edge I cut, so it's not necessarily, you know, completely straight. So I'm trying to use the top as my point of reference as to whether it looks straight. And I'm just kind of looking through at the shadow behind it to see. But you know what? Nobody's going to, if it bothers you, use a ruler or something. But I don't think anybody's going to be really checking that. I am using a color of the month called Retro. It's a beautiful blue color. As Chalk Couture, we offer a color of the month at the first of every month. It is a While Supplies Last. This was from, oh goodness, can I see? From May. So it's only while supplies last, and it's a limited edition. So whenever you see we have those, you definitely want to grab them as soon as you see them, if you like them, because generally they do not last past the middle of the month. So I am just applying this with one of my squeegees, and you'll notice I'm just covering all of the silkscreen area, right? That's all I want to do. Just make sure I get my chalk paste, and chalk paste is just wet chalk. I'm just trying to make sure I get my chalk paste through the silkscreen area, but you want to move fairly quickly because it's kind of chalk paste. It's kind of a matte, and it dries in 5 minutes or less. If I had a ceiling fan on, it would dry even quicker. So, but it's not difficult at all. And I need to decide if I'm going to do, I probably am going to keep it the same color for the words that I'm going to put below it, because this is not for me. I'm going to use it to sell at a vendor fair, craft fair. So if I was doing it for me, I would be doing it differently, but I'm trying to keep it kind of generic. Other than the fact that I did add a pop of color. But since I live in a coastal area, most people like the coast, you know, a pop of color like that. And I just associate that when I think of nautical, I think of the blues. You could have gone with a navy blue. I'm not much of a navy blue gal. So there you go. Pretty cool, pretty easy, right? I'm going to spray some water on this, and then I will wash it before I do on the other design. I just wanted to show you both of them. They did have multiple options. I can't remember what else they have besides these two, but I feel like they had something else. But again, that's only available in the summertime and spring. Now on this one, I'm going to put this color Tide on it. So it's like a dark teal, and that's a coral color. I just think that'll be a nice complement. That one's going to have a little more pizzazz, obviously, but some people are going to like that, and some people are going to like this, and we'll just go from there. Now, before I put this other design on there, because it may overlap a little bit, I am going to use my air dryer and just dry my chalk paste and help speed it up. Like I said, it would normally just dry on its own in about 5 minutes or less. So I'm just kind of speeding up the process, just so I don't smear it. Now, since this is going to be, I would assume it's going to be put outside, even though it's going to be on a covered porch, it would be completely fine. I don't really have to seal it if it's on a covered porch. And sometimes even when it's not, you're okay. But I will do a spray sealer, clear coat sealer over top of this since I'm selling it once I'm done, just to make sure that it does stay put. And, that's completely up to you how you want to do it. And I won't do anything to the back. I'm not even going to finish it off. I think it's going to be fine just like this. So for this one, I'm going to use the one that says thanks, but no thanks. Because like, again, I said, this one is kind of like a generic standard, would work for anybody. And I did wax this, so I'm just going to fuzz it once. And oops, I think I got a little pink on there. That's all right. Maybe I'll be able to cover it up. So I'm just going to put this. Oh, I'm going to find the middle of it. So you see how we have a phrase here, and I'm not exactly sure where the middle is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this together and meet these two dots up. Or if it was not dots, I would meet up the last character in the phrase on this side with the first character, and then I would fold it. It gives me a little bend just until I wash it. Once I wash it, and then from here, that kind of tells me the middle. And if I'm looking at my letters, if I were to count out how many, then I can kind of get an idea of where my middle is going to be. And again, I am an eyeballer, so we're hoping that I get it straight. I think that looks like that will be fine. And again, I'm going to do it in the same color. If I was doing this for me, that's the cool thing about DIY. When you're DIYing, you can do it any way you want. But since I am planning on trying to sell this, I will just keep it basic. I may end up painting that though, because I feel like it just blends into too much. I don't know, guys. It's hard to tell. It's hard for me to tell. I think I'll probably have to paint it just because I feel like it disappears so much. All right, so we're just covering up the whole silk screen, making sure everything's got it. And then, voila. Now, as you can see right here, I had a little bleeding, probably because I just did not push it down far enough. And if you could see, this thing was bouncing up and down. That was probably part of the reason. Once that dries, I can kind of scrape those little sections off. If you don't mind about it, just leave it. Guys, it's handmade. Handmade's not supposed to look perfect. It's not supposed to look like it came off an assembly line, so it might have some little idiosyncrasies or imperfections, and that's what makes it special. So if I wanted to, I could even use this chalk paste to paint this, and I may do that. And if I did, I'll show you what we do if we do that. Let me grab a paintbrush, because I haven't showed that in a long time. Just grab a little paintbrush. If I was going to paint that in the same color, which I think I'm going to, you guys, because it's killing me, I would just take a little tiny bit of this paint. of this chalk paste, okay? Because I can turn it into paint. And I'm going to put it here on the lid because I'm lazy like that. And I don't want to waste anything. So you can put all your extra right back in here. And I am going to use some distilled water. You only use distilled water, and I'm only going to spray a tiny bit to make it a little more fluid. But you only use distilled water when you're working with any kind of product that's like a paint, acrylic paint, chalk paste, ink, because if you use tap water, it does have, you know, impurities in it, and it can cause mold in your, and then that makes you sad. So I'm just making it a little more fluid. You can take it right out of the jar if you would rather, and use that as well. Now I used acrylic paint on that one, but as you can see, I can just as easily use chalk paste as a paint, and then it matches 100% perfectly. So, and then I just leave whatever's on there on the lid, because you never know, there might be another time I want to use. Now, with this being a metal, as you can see, we're not getting the best coverage. I could have put some gesso on this, and that would have made this paint grab, the chalk paste that I turned into paint, grab a little bit better. But I didn't. And again, if it doesn't give me 100% coverage, I'm going to be okay with that, because I think it kind of adds to the character of it. So that is my idea. If you wanted to zhuzh it up even more, I'm going to leave this over here because I'm going to dry it and then put another coat on. But you can see how it kind of, it's got it in most spots. I don't know, that kind of gives it some character. Just adding like that. I don't know, that might be cool. I might leave it like that, you guys. I painted the seahorse all the way, but you know, an anchor would be kind of like that, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be perfect because it's been down in the ocean. I don't know. I tell little stories with my crafts. I don't know if you guys do. If you really wanted to add another element to it, then you could take a fun nautical or, you know, coastal kind of ribbon and add to it as well. So what I'll probably do is leave this on here, but I will bring my ribbon with me. And if the person who buys it wants it changed out, I can always change it out at the event. So there you go. So I'll have 2 of these. Now I am also going to do another video. I hope you'll take a look at it, where I use these same ones, because this is popular. You know, nobody wants people knocking on your door all the time. It can get annoying when you're in a development if it happens a lot. And you want to maybe curb them. I'm not going to say that this is for sure going to keep them away, but you know, who knows, maybe it will. But I also have bought some chalkboard shapes, and I'm going to do the same thing with the same, I'm going to use these transfers in the same way, but I'm going to add a little like wooden painted embellishment to them, just to add a little bit of character. And again, to keep it kind of coastal. You could do that for anywhere that you lived, or whether you have, you know, you like dogs or whatever, you could, when I do that one. But you might want to check out my posting for the other one that I'll do that has, if I get that done, once I get it done, I will link it in the comments so that you guys can access that too. But anyway, I hope you like that idea. And until I see you next time, I hope you'll be safe, you'll be healthy, and you'll be blessed, and always be so inspired. Thanks, guys. Bye.